All right, I'm going to draw a side view and a front view now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything. So I can either draw a marquee when I'm in the 2D selection tool around everything to select it, or I can choose select all, which is Command A. Make sure I move everything. And I'm just going to move it up a little bit so that I have some more room to draw. So when I've selected everything, you have to grab one of the objects and everything moves together. The other thing you can do is select all and group it all. And now when I move it around, all my parts stay together so I don't accidentally leave something behind. I can get it to wherever I want, and then I can go up to modify and ungroup or use Command U. So either way is a good way to move when you have a lot of parts and you don't want to accidentally leave one part behind. So now I'm going to draw a side view, and it's going to be two rectangles, and I'm going to use some points here to line up. So I'm going to draw my substrate first, which I know is 5/8. And because I'm moving in the downward direction, it's a negative number. There's my substrate. I've used my plan view to line everything up so I didn't have to remeasure the width. All I had to do was apply the height, which is 5/8, which you guys learned in your day-long client meeting. And now I'm going to draw the rectangle for the poplar, which starts here and goes to here and is 2.5 inches, which again is a negative 2.5. And I have my two parts for the side. So again, we've got some visibility issues we need to take care of, right? If you're looking at the side, all you see is the poplar. You can't see the substrate for this part, but you can see it in this part. So we have some graphic attributes we have to play around with. So one option would be to give the top a white fill. So that hides the line, and the best way I know how to do this part is to draw a line now that's on top and change that to a dashed line, because that would be the hidden line that you could see. We can do a little bit of detailing. We know we need a 1/4 by 1/4 chamfer in this corner. I can set up my chamfer tool in the third mode, and I'll choose first and second lines and 1/4 by 1/4. Click OK, and I can chamfer that corner. And it didn't chamfer behind because that's my substrate back there. So what I can do is just go ahead and use my little trim tool and just remove that. Using the trim tool, it'd be helpful to zoom on in. So sometimes you have to clean up some stray lines that are poking through there. If I wanted to add a little bit more detailing, I could actually draw in a visible line that would show my chamfer. My chamfer ends there. So a little bit of detailing. Now, one of the things I want to show you in this view too is that we want to put in some nails for our nail pattern. So you can either use a really short line. Let's give it like an 1/8 of an inch in length. And I'm going to line up right with the center there. Let's see how that looks. And I'll put a nail here. Doesn't look too bad. And then I'll use my mirror tool. That wasn't too successful. I'm going to back up and maybe mirror there. That looks a little better. And then I'll select both of these, holding down the Shift key, and pick up the mirror tool and mirror them up to the front. So I've got my nail pattern for nails that'll go from this piece into this piece, and nails that'll go right through this little tail of the rabbit into the piece there. If you don't like little lines, you can create a little teeny circle with a radius of, try radius of 1/8. See what that looks like. That's a little too big. There's this little cross in here that just puts a little X for X marks the spot. However you want to do this, you can put in your nails. I'll stick with the lines. So now I want to have some nails across going into the substrate. So I'll choose to use my line again, and I'll just drag a copy. And again, you'll have to figure out where your nail line is, and this is a great time to use the Smart Edge, right? Because we've got this 1/4" chamfer, and you don't want to put your nail in the chamfer, but you only have between here and here to put your nail, right? Otherwise, if you nail down here, it's not going to go into the substrate. So I'm going to set up my Smart Edge for 3/8. Now watch what happens. I can use my top, I move my cursor a little bit, and I get my extension line. And as I pull my cursor down, right there, it's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in for you guys so you can see it. All right, so I want to be 3/8 inch down from here. So I pick up my extension line, and I'll move this out of the way so you can see it. And then as I drag my cursor down, notice right there, I get a little short red dashed line. Anywhere along that line is 3/8. So I can drop a nail there. I have to go pick up my line again, drop a nail there, drop a nail there. So that's a pretty quick way of putting in your nail pattern. Now say I want to have some equal spacing, and I want to have my first nail start here and my last nail start there. I can also use move by points in the second mode. So let's say I'll have 2 duplicates, we'll retain the original. I'm going to use the second mode, and I start here, and before I get going I have to make sure my object is highlighted. Click once here, once there, and I can evenly distribute my nail pattern. So 2 quick ways of putting in your nail pattern. Either you line up for the vertical ones, or you can use Smart Edge for the horizontal ones, and then use move by points or align distribute or something to get your nail pattern set.